Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Hey guys, we are back, and we are going to continue talking about what are those antis going to come after next. We're also going to get into what's going on in California, probably still talking about wolves, all that good stuff. Non-resident hunters in other states, guiding in other states, and probably touch a little bit on the Arizona Working Dog Alliance. And here we go, some more of them rabbit holes. Thanks for coming back. Listen to part 2. Hope you enjoy this show. Well, I posted a thing the other day said I'm against pest control. Why are we killing all these little poor spots? We're in their land. They were here first. Yeah. You know, if we're gonna give up mountain lion hunting, why don't you guys give up pest control? It's illegal to spray your house or use any kind of trap to kill spiders.
Everyone thinks it's okay until it affects them.
A little bitty old mouse is just trying to get in for the winter.
Yeah.
And you've got extra crackers that you don't eat. What the heck?
It's an unfair weapon right there against flies.
Brett, you look like that old lady selling tamales at the local corner with your fly swatter.
Maybe we need to start a welding show just for Dan. Dandy, go start a welding show.
Yeah, start your own.
We're going to come on and ask you about dogs. What kind of collar do you use? Do you use what kind of foothill? The pad heel or those people need a Bible, period.
I used to make my own foot dope.
She's trying to get my Bible off me. She didn't believe I had a Bible. It's all full of notes and everything. Everybody thinks I'm a heathen, but I still read the Bible.
I know I'm a heathen, and I got one right here.
That's just so you can protect yourself from your first wife.
Oh no, as long as she's throwing something and I don't move, I'm safe. What do you mean, hey?
New Mexico, they went after youth squirrel hunting competition sponsored by New Mexico Fish and Game, and New Mexico Fish and Game folded. You know, it's kind of sad that because they are a state agency, you know what I mean? They're state funded, all that. They can't come out and say, go F yourself. And that's the problem. So that's why all these organizations have to start so we can go and say, go F yourself, you know, because after it all goes to whatever, I was just told this last night, right, Jared?
Yeah.
The commission can comment, but the Game and Fish cannot.
Yep.
So when you put on that uniform, it's actually a uniform of sheep.
Yes.
Well, you got rules.
You no longer have an opinion.
Yeah.
You have an opinion until they say don't have an opinion. Until that time comes, don't.
See, this is where I get confused. I mean, we pay state biologists to manage wildlife. A ballot box initiative like this comes, and then the biologists cannot say anything that they've learned, studied, anything. That's bullshit.
They need to outsource it though. They need to subcontract it because then they're not an employee of the state. They're
that's what the antis. Well, that's what the antis did.
I know they subcontracted the butterfly.
Yeah, the butterfly retard. I got an argument with that gal, and she's all, well, this PhD biologist says there's no.
This is a true story.
Yeah, there's no evidence showing that hound hunting has anything to do with population control and helping the deer herds out. And I'm like, where are you finding this from? And she did the PhD biologist, this and guy. I did a 2-second Google search on him. He worked at a butterfly pavilion in Colorado.
He knows a lot about lions.
Yeah.
Lions.
You gotta be kidding me.
Butterflies. It's the same.
He's not even a large carnivore, but since he has PhD and biologist behind his first two names, you know, it's a big deal.
All they care about is money.
Yep.
You guys, the political deal isn't just California. If you stop and look at how many people have moved into California from everywhere else, the Midwest and the East Coast and all over, the same. I saw the same in Arizona before I left Arizona. It was rare to find another Arizona native because everybody came in from the Midwest or from New York or from, and that's just been taking place in the West for decades. It's just that they congregate in these states and they make a big splash. And then after that, they move out and go somewhere else because, you can, my brother-in-law's mother lived in a condo, like the 7th floor. And it was just, I don't know, it was a 700 or 800 square foot deal. And it sold, and they didn't clean it up. They didn't paint it. They didn't go through it. They just sold it. And it sold right away for $750,000. Now, just imagine if somewhere down the line you were passed down 10 acres on the edge of town,
Yep.
Well, so you can move anywhere and pay cash and still have 3/4 of the money in your pocket and live high and mighty. So that's where a lot of this influx is coming. And it's people are leaving California. A lot of it is over the population and all of that, but a lot of it is because they can come out financially ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going the opposite direction, leaving New Mexico and going to Arizona. I'm hoping I can end up with 5 acres, and I've got 340 acres here.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say, Benny. You look at the property values in Arizona, and then you come over here and look. They're like quadruple the amount. Unless it's good hunting land, then it's total opposite, But, I mean, now in certain places, unwanted land, unusable land where you can't get water rights or electricity to it, and it's an act of Congress to do that, it's going to cost you $50,000 to drill a well. Well, yeah, you can buy it pretty cheap. And that's if they can even find water on it. So
that's how I got my 10 acres. It's dirt cheap, no power, no water, but no one can hear my dogs bark.
I can't hear mine bark. Well, I say that. They're a half mile down the road. But they got their own condo.
Yep.
Their own house.
I've been here 11 years and I can't hear mine bark where I got them now. But I've been helping that neighbor out when I was over there. She can hear them real good. Like funnels through there. All her family members like, yeah, we know about your dogs. I'm like, oh, dang. No one said nothing. All these neighbors over on this side, they're all in cedar trees. So it kind of keeps that noise down real good.
Dampens the noise.
Yeah. I don't think it's the Californians as much as it's liberal teachers who are teaching our children. They're liberal. That's true too. And that's true. When so today I was at the CPA's trying to get that AWDA going, and she was kind of like, well, what kind of business is it? And I'm like, oh man, I didn't know what to put, but I ended up putting wildlife conservation education is what I put under it. So, but that's what we talked about last night is what we wanted to do with it. And education is like top priority.
Yeah.
The more education you get out there and, let people know exactly what it is. First impressions, instead of seeing it on TikTok where a bear hits every branch or a lion's running through the creek from 1985. How old is that video they were playing, Jared?
So that was made in 1995 and it was filmed in the PNW, and they used that video to make hound hunting illegal in Oregon and Washington in 96. And it's just, it's what happens, at a tree. If things go south, a lion holding onto the branch falls down in the water, starts crawling away, and a guy walks up with a pistol behind it and shoots it in the back and kills it. I mean, the lion knew it was dying for 30 seconds, 10 seconds. I mean, it's way better. How that lion died was still better than starving to death or old age.
That comes from us posting stupid stuff on social media.
Well, that was
1995. So no one cared back then.
Somebody shared that video.
Oh,
they used it.
Get out.
They used it in commercials back in 95 to make hound hunting illegal. And what I heard talking to my buddies in Oregon was that was just the antis kind of infiltrated a hound hunter and, lied to him, said it was cool or whatever. And
hey, I tried to expose that knucklehead.
Yep.
Hey, we never have heard from him, have we?
No, not going to.
He went quiet.
You're not going to, Brett. You're not going to.
Not until they show up at your door to search your place looking for Benny's kittens. But we got them because they're at my house.
Back in 1950,
I was waiting on mine.
Back in 1950, Walt Disney even had books about killing lions called Cougar.
I mean, they are the original people that had. Oh shoot!
Hold that book up.
This talks about why we have to manage mountain lions, and it's for kids.
Well, but now you got books in there that tell you can have sex with the same person at 9 years old.
Yeah,
that's for real. That's for real.
They're saying that men can have babies.
Yeah.
And
my God, I'm ready to bust myself.
You look. I seen you, Benny. You look
months.
like you might be about 9 months along. There.
I'm only
I'm
4.
going to tell you, though.
I'm only 4.
When my kid is born, it's going to be the hairiest little outlaw.
That's a lion attacking sheep, and then there's a guy and dogs running up there with a gun.
That's the book. I've always said I've been kind of preaching lately about what I want to do with AWDA, and I want to take a hound and a hound pup and all that and go to the schools. That's the book you read to the younger class. The older, you let them watch the videos, like Lionheart, something to that effect.
There's
You
an old
mentioned
video.
You
out
mentioned
on
this
Netflix.
the other night. Disney had the wetback hound. That was the first time Warner and Marvin Glenn were on camera. First time anybody ever heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
That was Disney.
Disney, I know.
Yeah.
Now they're all woke.
Oh,
They had them before you, Brett.
You know what's crazy on the Disney? When you play the Disney Channel, like if you play a video on it, there's little warnings now that say
this is not culturally.
It's not cultural, it's sexual content, or it might reference racism.
This is a different time.
Yeah. On Aladdin.
I represent a different time.
But if you watch
Me too.
the old cartoons on Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse used to smoke a cigar and carry a gun, and
Hey, what about Elmer Fudd that they used to shoot each other in the face? He'd stick his fingers in the barrel. How about Woody Woodpecker? Woody Woodpecker, I remember one time, put his mouth in a car, sucked out the gas, and spit it out and started something on fire. I didn't become a pyro because of that. I didn't stick my fingers in barrels.
Yep.
Guys, I got to go.
Yeah.
You told your wife you were coming an hour ago.
I know.
40 minutes.
She hasn't texted me or anything.
We're going to leave it to all you young guys.
Yeah, I got to get up. I'm going to go lion in the morning.
There you go.
Oh,
you need going where there's trees?
Huh?
Are you going where there's trees and cold weather? Or
no, I was there this morning. I was down on the river this morning. I've got 2 lions down there, but there was nothing went through there. Got to pop some young dogs on some javelina. So it wasn't all for naught.
Yeah.
No, where I'm going, there's no trees.
Darn it.
No trees.
There ain't many where you live.
Yeah.
Well, you just go about an hour and a half drive, you get into the trees up there. I just haven't been going up there for a long time, but I will this year.
Dandy Florentine is an undercover guy. I think his turn. Why does he want my address? He wants to come find me, find my kittens I'm holding for Benny.
Yeah, he's infiltrated the group.
I think so.
Guys, have a good evening.
See you later, Brad.
Yeah. Us old men got to go to bed.
Yeah, now we can talk some real talk.
We'll see you later. Take care,
evening, guys.
Okay, bye.
I'm out too. You guys,
see you later,
Cody Lynn, pick up the slack.
I'm gonna come pick you up, and we're gonna hunt the cheater dust so you can show me how, Benny.
Oh, that's fine.
He'll say, get out there. I'm gonna stay in here.
Get out there. I'll be here with my pickup idling. This diesel is really cheap compared to frozen toes.
I've got Mr. Buddies. I've got 4 of them, so I can keep you pretty warm.
Now, see, you're getting a little perverted, you woke pig.
No, ain't nothing like that. I just know
right,
you get cold feet.
Have a good evening.
You too. Later, Benny.
Anti-juice picture of a Yodi that was bald from age, and the headline read, Hunter skinned the Yodi and turned it loose. The Yodi was standing there away. Yeah, that's what they do, and that's what I've been talking about, right? You got to take their tactics and you got to turn it around.
Yes.
You got to manipulate the situation and make it look good for your side.
just like the sheep herders or the sheep farmers or whatever, sheep ranchers, whatever you call them.
Anyways,
but they post pictures of a gutted sheep with no fur on them anymore, with no wool on them anymore, and it's like you don't gut a sheep to get the wool off of them.
No, if that sheep's gutted, that means it got tore up by something, or they're about to butcher it.
Yep,
and that probably came off the Navajo res because they butcher a lot of sheep up there. A lot of sheep.
Those Bosque, they don't butcher any.
Who's that?
The Bosque people.
Oh, I don't know. I just know there's a lot of sheep up on the Navajo res.
The Basque do like their lamb chops.
Yeah.
I mean, I've eaten it before. It's pretty good stuff.
There's some, like, if you go into Nevada, there's some amazing Basque restaurants in Nevada. Amazing.
Oh,
they're expensive as all get out, but they are expensive and worth every dollar.
Doesn't matter if she's gay or not, as long as she's happy and doesn't think she's entitled. Oh, she thinks she's entitled to every one of my damn guns, my packs, my dogs, my collars. She has my 200 and all the collars.
Oh, and your money, Chris. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, I know. When she owes
saw
me
that
money,
in person.
Yeah.
Jared, you were there. You saw that in person.
Yep. Dad, how much?
Mutton stew.
How much do you have on you?
Mutton stew is on the menu at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Gallup. That's a fact. That's for real.
Yep.
Everybody, like someone said, it's not just California or whatever, but California is the guideline. California outlawed hounds, and now they got 60,000 bears. And that's 60 to 80. Even if you took that number and cut it in half to 40, how many are females? How many are getting bred? How many are twins? What's the survival rate? Even if you killed 10,000 bears this year, that's not even a dent. That's not a dent.
This is how screwed California is on wildlife. They only have 500,000 deer. 500,000. They have over 4,000 mountain lions and 60,000 bears. 20%.
How many mountain lions?
4,000.
There's more than that.
4,000 to 6,000
in California.
Yeah, 4 to 6.
I bet you it's more than that.
It probably is. I'm not arguing, but publicly, that's what they have it as.
That's a government example of what they have.
Yeah. Well, on average, just say 3,000 lions kill 50 deer a year. We know they kill porcupines and everything else, but just say 3,000 average 50 deer a year. That's 150,000 deer a year gone just from mountain lions. 150,000 out of 500,000 deer. So now you're down to 350 deer, 350,000 deer. And now you got to deal with black bears during fawning season. Almost 100,000 black bears during fawning season.
And wolves.
Yeah. And wolves.
And coyotes. Well, bobcats.
And
bobcats take them deer down.
Yeah. I mean, that deer herd is not going to rebound. And it is going to we're going to start seeing dramatic deer herds just shrinking down to nothing.
What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen?
They're going to load it to death.
No, what do you think's going to happen when California says, "Shit, we got to let these guys kill these bears and lions with hounds"? And are they going to? Are they going to say, "Here's a tag. You don't have to pay your out of state price"? People will pay the out of state price. I don't know what the out of state price is. What's the out of state price?
Expensive for California, no matter what you're doing. Yes, sir.
People will pay it.
It was like I think $1,500 for a deer tag.
Gosh,
people will pay it. I pay it every year to go lion hunting. Not in California, but I hunt everywhere.
They could even have a pursuit season for lion in California and probably push some of them lions just back a little bit.
At least make them where they're scared of humans again.
Yeah, but that's not going to help the deer herd out.
The deer herd is screwed regardless.
I mean, there is over 100,000 predators, big game predators, mountain lion and bear probably, in the state of California. That's 25% of the deer herd. Plus, you have coyotes and bobcats on top of that.
And we didn't even include, human predators that actually hunt the deer.
Yep.
Well, they're going to have to quit hitting deer.
Or winter kill. I mean, winter kill is a big issue too. So they're bleeding so bad right now and not doing anything about it.
Let's see. Idaho has more lion than that, and there's a lot of hounds catching lion every year. Tim's thinking they're faking those numbers too. And I guarantee you they are.
But you can't argue that point with someone. You have to argue what's with factual on the paper.
Well, that's like state of Louisiana says we have 1,000 bears, which is garbage. We've got way over that. But because they put these barbed wire traps out to catch the bear's hair, plus the ones they catch and collar, and those traps that don't get hair in them, there's no bears in this area. Well, yeah, they're not there because they're eating in a cornfield like 2 miles from here. There's 20 of them in this cornfield.
I've seen those videos of you guys combining corn, and all of a sudden there'll be 30 bears running out that last row of corn.
Well, any given day. Now, this year there wasn't a lot of corn. I think there was one cornfield on the property that I hunt, and I've got a video of 2 bears that came out on me and my wife and got within 25 yards. I thought I was going to have to down one of them because he was getting awful anxious. Let's just put it that way. He was popping his gums and all. And we're sitting there on the buggy watching them with a thermal. Matter of fact, turned the light on and finally got him to leave. And I'm like, it's not going to be good for you, cuz. You best move on. But, if it was in the backfield on that same property, and we would have had anywhere from 7 to 10 in that field in the daylight, not counting what's coming out at night. And that's just in 100-acre field.
Yep.
That's like that one that's in that corn crib. I bet you I can drive up there right now. He's sitting in that corn crib asleep. He was asleep the night that I filmed him.
Yeah, it was funny. Hang on. Let me go back to E. Anderson. He made a statement that was funny, but you was talking. I want to interrupt you. So there's at least 500,000 cougars in California. I know. I've been at the bars. Jared did laugh. I seen him laugh. But listen, Jeremy was getting serious, so we had to not cut him off.
But, if you're finding bears and hibernating, there's a lot of them. Just like if someone's seeing lions continuously.
Our bears don't hibernate. It doesn't get cold.
So they go like raccoons, though, don't they? When it's cold, they go to sleep. When it's warm, they come up. No?
Not here.
It's called brumation. So they don't really go into a hibernation. So you just take California.
They may sleep for a week here, but that's about as much as
Well, they'll go to sleep. They'll come up and they'll eat. They'll go back sleep. So you talk about California. These are bears that out of 40,000, 60,000, whatever, they're not all going to be brumating at the same time. They're going to be coming out. They'll come out and eat. Then they'll go back to sleep, So they're not in a deep hibernation. They don't just all hide. I've seen bear tracks in January in the snow, you know.
About the only time ours actually brumate or hibernate is when they're having cubs. And they'll lay up for, about a week. But they're not going to stay asleep for very long. They're up moving around eating. You're going to see them every day.
Yep.
Now, but they may sleep for 16 hours of that day, but they're going to be up at some point within a 24-hour period.
Yep.
Here, I can't answer for everywhere else. But, I've only known of like 3 documented cases where they were actually asleep when they found them.
Yeah.
They were just in that little realm of
dormant state, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What
they woke up
them with a needle, put them to sleep for a little while longer so they could mess with them. But but they were doing, den studies is what they were doing, just like they do everywhere else. I walked up on one during February that was on top of a little hill. And when I say hill, it's not like y'all's hill. It's a 10-foot hill. And I had a pack of beagles in a grass field. And I had an old dog and a puppy. I mean, I'm talking about a puppy. He shouldn't even been with us. But I wasn't going to leave him at the house. And we walked up on top of this hill. I'm like, is that a 55-gallon drum sitting there? Like an oil drum sitting there. So I'm dumb, get a little closer. No, it rolls over, starts popping its gums. And I'm like, this ain't good. All I got's a 16 gauge and number 6s.
Oh boy.
So I back up, and this puppy is, he thinks he's bigger than the world. He's probably 2 pounds and like 8 or 9 weeks old. And he's after this bear. And finally, she realizes I'm way bigger than she is, and she runs off. And there's a cub as big as this puppy in this nest. And this puppy is on this cub, and I'm talking about wooling it pretty good. So I beat the puppy off of it and picked him up, throwed him in my vest. And I called the large carnivore biologist. And, of course, she was our biggest problem for a long time. But she did a lot of good, but she wasn't going to ever let us hunt them as long as she was here. And luckily for us, she moved on to bigger and better things, and we got somebody from South Dakota that knew what to do. So
good deal.
We got a bear season.
Still no dogs yet, though, right?
No, you can't run them with dogs. You can bait them, and it's a mandatory 24 hours. You got to report, and you can't bait for but 2 weeks before the season. You have to take a class and all this jargon, which they do the same thing for alligators. But yeah, it was overthought. I would put that way.
Yeah,
that's the only way they can get. Like Nevada got a bear hunt. Shoot, probably 10 years ago, 11 years ago. You got to take a class for it before you get your tag.
Which
there's
I don't
60,000
disagree
bears
with that.
in California, and there's none bleeding over to Nevada.
There is. That's why we have the Nevada bear hunt now. But to get for Nevada to get the bear hunt and make it sound like Nevada was managing bears and everything, they had to implement a class. And that class is not a small class. It is a long 2-hour ordeal.
Well, ours is a 4.
Yeah. And
my class was 2 weeks long. I took both of my boys to it and showed them how to kill bears. About it.
Yeah. But that's the only way. Like if California brings back a lion hunt, they will have a class with a lion in a tree identifying what is
male and
female or a tom.
California?
Yeah.
Man, I think they need to kill everything. Like they need to go after everything to thin it out. I don't know why they'd be worried about a sow quota they're only killing 1,100, 1,200 bears a year as it is right now.
Yeah, they shouldn't be, but you got to remember, you're talking to the public.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to shoot mom.
Well, then don't hunt in the spring. Hunt in the fall.
Yeah, but I was talking for lions.
Well, yeah.
They don't have
those only have babies in the summer. That's why Arizona, you can't hunt them for 2 months because that's the only time they have their babies is June and July.
Dumbest thing.
Don't you know this? It is dumb.
That's why you go up to Idaho, Nevada, Montana, Utah, you'll see kittens with no ears because they froze them off.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were a winter kitten.
They breed when they breed.
Yep. And that's, for some reason, an independent lion biologist put on by Cat still can't fathom that.
This is the butterfly guy?
Huh?
This is the butterfly guy?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Probably was him too, but it's just that's one of their big things is, lions have their kittens in the summer. That's why Arizona doesn't have a summer lion season anymore. Well, lions have kittens year round. You think a biologist with a PhD would know that, not some hillbilly that runs the heavy equipment for a living.
But let me ask you this, Jared. How many biologists are actually in the field doing what you, Chris, Brett, Casey, Benny, any of y'all have ever done? How many?
Oh, it depends.
The ones paid by the state, right?
Yeah. Nevada has some very good biologists, like the sheep biologist in Nevada. He would help me, he'd talk to me and be like, hey, dude, our sheep are getting hammered, He'd tell me that stuff. And then Arizona's biologist, he's really proactive.
We have 2 large carnivore biologists now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have like the head, but they're the 2 are the ones doing the work. Now they're doing the work. I mean, every time we had a vehicle kill, we would have to call them, GPS mark it, and send them a pin, and they'd come pick the carcass up. Because here it's illegal to possess any part of a Louisiana black bear.
Yeah.
They may have changed that up since they decided to allow us to hunt them. But like, I know the guy that worked on the federal refuge for, 20 years. We helped him a lot when I was volunteering and working for the refuge. Now, he was in the field every day, unless he had to do paperwork. But they were trying to establish the population then and to make it to where it branched out from, the northern half of the state to the southern half of the state. And that was the main goal of reestablishing the black bear in Louisiana. Well, that's been done for 20 years. They didn't want to admit it, so they come up with this jargon number of 1,000 bears is all we have in the state.
Yeah.
BS. We got 1,000 bears in 100 miles right here,
Yeah. See, that's where you guys are going to have to go to the commission's meeting with trail camera pictures and start pointing out all these different bears.
Oh, our commissioners they're already, most of them are landowners. No.
That's good.
They've been pushing it for 10 years trying to get a bear season. So
that's good.
What do y'all think about a minimum non-resident license per houndsman?
Like money-wise?
I think
Idaho's the only one that charges for a out-of-state houndsman license.
Well, yeah, we don't. So
Y'all
you just
don't.
have to buy an out-of-state hunting license and an out-of-state
Tag.
tag. And I think out-of-state, you should come in and be able to kill a bear. But I think as a guide out-of-state, you should limit.
Hey,
I know Jared's gonna get on me, but for bear, I'm talking about bear. Lion is different.
Don't be hate. Well, I already told you what you need to do for guides is since you guys do have such a small female quota, and do it for hunters too. Hold everyone accountable since you guys have female quotas.
Mm-hmm.
If you shoot a sow or you guide on a sow, you do not hunt bears the next year.
Exactly.
That's what I was going to, like a limit of, you don't come in and whack a bunch of sows and leave, and that's the problem.
Do it to residents too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have never seen more people shoot 1,000 yards until I came down and Coues deer hunted in southern Arizona.
Oh yeah, that's all long range down there.
Yeah, I mean,
it has to be.
But I also don't. I kind of got my ass reamed for shooting a sow this year, and the guy was kind of like, "Hey man, practice what you preach. Basically, you can't be a hypocrite." And I said, "Man, out of hundreds of bears I've treated, I've killed 10 bears, 11 bears. 4 of them were sows. 4 since 2010 when I started running bears with my dog. So in 15 years, I killed 11 bears, 4 sows, and I'm the problem. I'm not the problem.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not out to kill. And most I killed were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 were for my family.
Yeah,
I'm the worst guide ever. I don't even think I'm gonna renew my guide license this year. But I'm not the problem, And I did tell that guy. I said, well, actually, on the show before this week, I did say I'm gonna shut the unit down. So I don't say, yeah.
But is he talking about like how much Idaho should charge for non-resident houndsmen?
Let me see. Let me see. You mean limited?
It wasn't much when I looked at it.
What is it?
I said it wasn't much when I looked at it.
Idaho's like 700 right now.
It's 300 to come kill a bear in Arizona. It's 3.
Yeah, but no, Idaho's what he's talking about. He's from Idaho, right?
Well, yeah, because I think you have to have a hound permit there, right?
And
you got a non-resident hound hunting permit.
Yeah,
I think that's just a money generator because what does it matter if you're killing a bear? You're killing a bear. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But why can't the state make money?
Well, that's where does it go? That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make money off conservation.
I'd pay $500 for a summer season, pursuit season.
I'd pay $500 for a permit tag for a pursuit tag for bear.
It was
for year-round chase.
It was cheaper for me to buy 2 out-of-state hunting license 2 line tags and a bear tag than it was to go to Mississippi and hunt turkeys.
Yep.
I'm talking about hound permit. Idaho only is 70 a year. That's a lot of hound permits. Only? I don't know. To me, I'm one of them guys that I don't like people in my area. Can I stop them? No. Do I say you guys are a bunch of idiots? Well, yeah, I do sometimes, but I know public land is public land, but 70? Man, that's a lot of hound hunters in one area. You're talking about 70 guys that probably have
That's the whole state. That's the whole state of Idaho.
Well, I'm just saying they don't just scatter over the whole state.
Well,
they don't go to the northern state, that's for sure.
That's just non-resident, but that's 70 outsiders hunting your area.
Well, that's just like right here where I'm at. I've got a 100,000 acre national wildlife refuge and a 19,000 acre state management area that open up at the same time for a month in January and February. And there's like 4 of us in this area that hunt. But I mean, heck, we don't see that many people as we used to, you know. But we had that $100,000 hunt used to be right here on this 19,000 acre tract, and the state decided. So the club pays for a annual use permit to have the actual hunts, and it covers everybody in the hunt. The state decided, well, y'all are making $100,000, da 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 da. We're going to make y'all pay for the annual use permit. Each person has to have it. And they actually did do like a 5-day instead of the full year, which the full year is $15. It's not really like it's god awful expensive, but it is an annual use permit. Whereas the club actually pays $250 for the permit. So they're taking money from 3 different communities because you'll have 64 dogs. So that's 64 handlers plus whoever they bring. And you're taking about $20,000 out of 3 communities over $250. So what it averaged up to. And that was the state. Mostly Mr. Green Jeans was the ones fussing.
Yeah. I got to pay the Forest Service 3% of my gross income every year.
Well, I thought it was like 6. It's 3?
I think it's 3%. Maybe it is 6. My wife does that taxes shit.
That drives me crazy too, that forestry.
But, you know, I got to pay the Forest Service to use their roads. And
the insurance, which is over $1,000 a year.
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, my insurance just went up for guiding this year, $400.
What are you up to now? Like $1,400?
Yeah.
Damn.
My amount of days haven't changed. My clientele hasn't changed. Nothing's changed, and it still went up $400.
Well, see, that's like a lot of people won't let you hunt these private hunting clubs unless you have $1 million worth of insurance. I'm not paying that to hunt your place because you want some depredation done.
I think that's what my insurance policy is too, is $1 million.
Yeah.
Or they want you to buy a membership in the club.
Yeah.
And these clubs are ridiculous around here. I mean, it's like a $10,000 buy-in. It's a $100,000 buy-in, $10,000 annual membership. You got to have like a 3,000 square foot camp.
Jesus.
I was on this Mississippi River clubs, but I mean, when you can kill a 200-inch deer, pretty serious.
Sam, that's how it is in New Mexico too. In Arizona, y'all can guide with just a guide license. Here, you have to work for an outfitter and have a guide license. Yeah, and I think New Mexico, you have to work
Same
for
in New
them
Mexico.
3 years or whatever it is. And
yep, Nevada's the same way. Nevada, you have to have 3 years guiding, and then you can become your own master guide. But in Idaho, Nevada, Colorado, and I don't know about New Mexico, but the Forest Service only allows so many guides per mountain range.
Yeah.
So, like, you could try to buy, just say, this isn't really a mountain range, but tabletop mountain range. This old timer's been guiding in it for 50 years. He wants to get out of it now. He's going to sell his Forest Service permit. The average rate of a Forest Service permit to guide on right now is about $250,000 to buy it.
That's just like cattle.
Yep.
That's just like ranchers. They sell them, their lease.
Yep.
Yeah.
All about the greenbacks nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything's about the greenbacks, and it's just getting harder and harder. It's like, I kind of made this live about the dogs. How, that it ain't cheap to keep a dog. Our ferocious, killing, mangy. It's just so easy to get out and go catch stuff. Dogs. You have, What did your dog just cost you?
Nothing.
Really?
Yep.
Is that because they're using the?
I don't know. I got the phone call saying she died in surgery, and I was out by Benson, and I was like, "Do you want me to turn around and come back, get the dog, or do you want me to turn around, come back and pay, get the dog? What do you want me to do?" And she's like, "You don't owe me nothing."
You got a good vet there.
Well, I had to drive 2.5 hours to get there, but she's been dealing with hounds for a long time.
She loves dealing with hounds.
Yep. No, my dog, she had a blunt force trauma to the lungs and had a collapsed lung, and
not a recent one either.
Not a recent one. It happened a while ago. Her lungs, her heart had scar tissue.
You didn't even know about it.
No, I mean, when you get done catching a lion in the heat, like the last lion she caught was in May last year. It was 90-some degrees when we caught it. So yeah, the next day the dogs are going to be laid up, sleeping all day. Dogs are going to act tired and sore for a while because of the heat knocks it out of them. But she didn't miss a meal for 4 months, and I've been hunting her since lion opener. So, it either happened last May when we caught that lion on the ledge, or this year when I caught that lion and I didn't get to see it because I had to go handle that lady.
The private ranch one?
Yeah, the private rancher. So I was hunting on this private ranch.
She was calling game warden on your ass.
Yeah. So I'm hunting on this private ranch, and mind you, I got to get through some locked gates to get back on this private ranch. And we get on this lion, and the dogs get the lion jumped, and they're going down the canyon, and I hear this lady going over. Like, the lion did a big old circle by my truck. It was a female. She did a giant circle, and I end up looking almost straight back down on top of the ridge, looking down at my truck. And there's this lady walking by my truck, and I'm like, what the shit is she doing back here? And all of a sudden she starts yelling at me. I have a picture of your driver's license and your dogs. I'm calling the game warden. And now I'm like, what the shit? I haul ass down to the truck to try to talk to her, and she skedaddled. So I get to the truck and I look at my handheld. All my dogs are marking treed. And I'm like, I got to go deal with this lady real quick. So I drive to the ranch headquarters house, and I run into the lady, and she apologized to me. She's like, I called the rancher, told him you were trespassing this and that. And I told them your description of your truck, and they said they said, no, I can be out there whenever I want. I can do whatever I want out on their place. She's like, I thought you were trespassing. It's all my fault. And I was like, no, it's okay. And I went back hauling ass. I went and jumped back in my truck, and I hauled ass to get to the dogs, and they were still marking treed. But by the time I got down to the dogs and got to them again, they moved. And this time they're all sitting on water, and it's about 100 degrees. So maybe that dog went off a ledge too on that hunt. That was the beginning of the year this year.
But she ran. You thought she was full of seeds.
Yeah, I thought she was full of seeds from foxtails or something in her lungs, because that'll happen quite a bit down here.
How old was that dog, Jared?
2.5.
Just getting started good.
Oh, tell you what, I got videos. That dog was treeing at 6 months and rubbing her nose cherry red at a year old and picking up loses at a 1.5 years old. She was probably going to be, I don't know if she's
it ain't going to happen to one that's a late bloomer and not exactly what you want.
No, it ain't. It's always going to be the ones you're like, man, if I can get this dog to 5 or 6, I'm going to have something. No, and she was a good dog. I've only caught her trashing on deer a couple times, but yeah, she was making trees at 5-6 months old, and then at a year old, her second lion season at year and a half old, she was rubbing her nose red, trailing, licking rocks. Nice. But I'm gonna go get two more puppies from the same bloodline here next week. So
what are they?
They're a cross between Jared Nichols stuff and Sam Darren.
Yeah, plenty money right there, Chris. Plenty money.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I ain't got shit for money.
Trading and swapping, bartering.
No, it was crazy that dog was going to the vet, and the guy that I got that dog from hit me up and said, "Hey, I got a litter of puppies that just hit the ground. Do you want some?"
I need some outside blood, man.
Well, what color do you want? I got all of them. I tell you what, them black and tans I have, you can beat the crap out of. Like, you can hunt them like rented mules, and they keep going.
I don't know if I'm going to end up getting the black and tan or not. Yeah, I won't call my uncle back.
You got the whole litter? You got the whole litter, Jared?
No, I'm only taking 2.
Yeah, my dad's looking for a pup too.
You know,
his dogs are getting old. He caught some bear this week, so last few weeks, so he's amped up again.
You gotta have, like, you know, I got a pretty young pack of dogs right now. My 2 oldest dogs are only 7, and then I got a 4-year-old, and then a 2-year-old, a 1.5-year-old, and then 2 puppies, 2-year-old puppies that just started hunting. If you don't have a constant rotation of young dogs coming in,
that's fact.
If you don't get puppies for 2-3 years, you're behind the game, because, you know, you always have an accident like happens. Like what Tim's his name, right? From Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, dog gets swatted by a bear, you know, and they take pain like no other.
Especially the hounds
are tough.
Yeah.
Oh,
you don't want a cur dog, though. You do not. They do not take pain.
I know.
They're
got a sweetheart.
They're gritty. They're tough and gritty. I'm not knocking them, but the one I got and this mutt, they act just alike. You take them to the vet, and they're just idiots. I have to dope them up, muzzle them, hold them down, because whatever they give them ain't enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, tranquilize this sapsucker. I will hold him while you stick him. It's just like taking 2 Tasmanian devils to the vet.
Yep.
And try to give them the pills they give you. Man, it's like you just got to cram them down their throat.
Yep.
Hold them until they swallow. Dump a gallon of water down them. It's a nightmare. These hounds, man, I love them, you know. And they've always been that way. I had a buddy the only black and tan I've ever been around that was worth a grain of salt. No offense, Jerry.
No, you're fine. I've only found one good line so far. The one
he got just swole up big on the side of his head by what we assumed was a rattlesnake, and he didn't die. And my buddy's like, he calls me frantic. I said, well, I'll be down there in a minute. And so I come down there with, you know, syringe of this and a syringe of that. I walk up. Normally, I would walk up pull up the driveway and be like, Killer, go find me a coon. And he'd go out there to be treed by the time I got finished visiting. And anyway, I walk up and, you know, hit him in both hips and walk in the house. And, all right, let's go out and give him a shot. I'm like, what are you talking about? I done gave him a shot. He's like, what? We can't even take him to the vet. He eats the vet up. I was like, Killer loves me. I don't know what you're talking about. That's how he got his name. He bit every vet they took him to.
Oh, man.
And so they called him Killer. And he was a little puppy when he was doing all this. But he was a pretty nice little hound.
What do you give your dogs? Do you give them Drex for snake bites?
Yeah, Dex and either penicillin or LA200, Benadryl.
That's all I give my dogs is Benadryl. Well, and I make sure they don't lay down.
Oh,
we go and keep moving once they get bit.
The only time I've got to worry about like a copperhead or a cottonmouth bite is in the heat. You know, if they're running and they're hot and they get bit, you know, you've got a chance of killing one with a snake bite, no matter what kind of snake it is. But normally, copperheads and cottonmouths, you don't have to worry about them killing them. They'll swell them up and rot them out, but they're not generally that bad of a bite. A rattlesnake, if they survive 30 minutes, they got a good chance of making it. But after, you know, if one goes down, he's dead. You just about can't get him 2 Dex or Benadryl or nothing.
Yeah. Well, it seems like every time I get a dog snake bit, I'm like 3 hours, 4 hours from the truck. So all I have is Benadryl in my pack.
Yeah. Well, I keep Benadryl pretty handy, and I got a bottle of Dex.
Yeah, keep that cool, though, don't you?
No, not Dex.
No?
Or at least I don't.
No, that book, The Brave. with Steve Mathis. He talks about dogs getting rattlesnake bit. He says don't let them sit down. You just keep working them. And so far, so good for me.
I've never lost a dog. I never just made them. I never ran them or nothing or walked them. But I've had labs bit in the head and I've had dogs bit. But I hardly did anything for Benadryl.
From what my vet says, head and legs, that's the best bites to have.
Yep.
You know, if they get bit in the body, that's a little worse.
My
That's where all the arteries, that's where all the blood's at. You know, the extremities is not so much, you know, but, you know, they say 75% of the time it's a dry bite. So you're not getting a whole lot of venom in there. And I've only had 2 rot out. So.
My buddy had a dog kind of rot out, got bit in the armpit, and he was cutting flesh off that dog for months.
I've got a Brittany, and I was going to bring him, but he's ancient. And so I decided, since my Gyps were at home, I'll just leave him at the house too, because he's an instigator, and my cur and his mutt, they don't get along with him. And even though the cur lives with him. But he got bit twice within a week, once on either side of the head. And he just swole up his head like a basketball. Poor dog. He is like the magnet for snake bites. I think he's been bit 6 times.
Oh, man.
He's just a magnet for them. And I think he tries to kill them, and I think that's his problem, because he's a dadgum gritty dog.
Doesn't like to lose.
No, he'll take, you know, if these dogs get a bone or something, he'll take it or try to take it from them. He was raised with a 100-pound red bone, and that was mean over food. And that Brittany would go in there and start eating, and that red bone would just, if he didn't eat first, he was going to whoop whatever was there.
Yep.
And I'm going to talk bad about myself, but I was there feeding him one night, and he jumped on that Brittany, and I just heard bones crunching. So I went there and broke it up with an axe handle. And, of course, you couldn't kill that red bone for nothing. And I'm telling you. And anyway, I got them separated. You know, old dog's head swole up. I mean, he is just accident prone. And he has cost me gobs of money. But the red bone, I'm telling you, he got ran over. It didn't hurt him, didn't faze him. He stayed gone for like 2 weeks, and I finally found him. He was run over that time and didn't hurt him. He killed like 30 cats in that period. People started sending me hate mail and cussing me every time I'd pull up asking about the dog. And I'm like, well, he ain't mine, he's my kid's. But anyway, he was a good dog, but he was a nuisance. Matter of fact, he was the first hound I ever had to tree a bear.
Yeah.
And got me and my cur dog eat up. I had a little mountain cur Gyp that would normally do the treeing, and the red bone would do the fighting. But he treed a sow, a big old sow with 2 yearling cubs, and it was not fun to be around that tree. And I literally had a buddy of mine with me and his wife, and I'm like, look, every time I'd walk up to the tree, the bear would come down, and it was fixing to be ugly. I said, look, you take it 22 and you just shoot that tree. Keep that bear in that tree till I can get these 2 dogs. I said, I'm going to leave the red bone, but I'm going to get this cur dog. She's worth more than red bone. Finally got the dogs back. Nobody got hurt. The bears got to go on about their business. So that's the only time I've ever been almost eat up.
Yep.
Or even worried about getting eat up.
I think the last one I had that I worried about, well, now a stinker caused me some trouble. Little bear hit the ground, stinker ran in on it, trying to kill it or something. And so I thought she was going to get ate up, but we had this big old sow. That was the first sow I ever misgendered. And it hit the ground, and that poor guy was a crack shot with a bow until you get him in a tree. And every archery guy I get, can you shoot that? Yeah. It don't matter. You put them on a 30-yard, or, they'll pie plate it at 100 yards. Mm-hmm. You get them in a tree under a bear. I tell you what, I see very few people that can make that shot, and man, he shot that bear. Bear came out of the tree after about a few arrows, and one of the dogs was being held. I don't remember if it was being held or it broke the lead, but it went after that bear, and that bear hugged that dog. And I grabbed that bowie knife. It was archery season, or I would have just shot the son of a bitch in the head. But, I'm trying not to get the bear took away, and it wasn't my bear, I ran up, stabbed that bear with my bowie knife, and that old bear turned around, tried to grab me, and he let go of that dog. And he had that dog in his mouth. And the only thing that saved that dog is that I had two I had old school 220 and a DC-30, or the DC-30 and the Tritronic shot collar. So that bear grabbed that dog, bit his head, his neck, and you can see where that molar bit that. It got stuck in his molars. Those collars got stuck in his back teeth. So he couldn't bite down hard enough before I got over there. And I went over there to stab him, and I reached up, and that old bear turned, tried to get me. And I turned around hoping someone would just shoot him or me or whatever if I'm getting eaten. And them sons of bitches ran up the damn hill. So that old theory of you don't have to be the fastest, you just don't have to be the slowest. And I was the slowest at that time. That's the only time I had a real bad almost wreck with a dog. I've had a dog sliced. Old dog ran in, and that old bear swatted him, sliced his back up. We didn't even know it till later. It was a perfect, man, it looked like a razor blade cut that dog.
Yeah.
Didn't bleed or nothing, just cut him open and got that bear killed out and ground, and went to load that dog up, and there's a big old gash right by its spine.
You're like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Those are always great to find when you're loading.
Oh, yeah. You know what you hear a lot of is right here in the armpit, or, where they're running through and they get stuck, and, no one's ever, you don't see it till later. But I was down in Tonto Basin when we was chasing a lion, big Tom, and Tom had went up to a bobcat track, and they had one of them little tweeters in it with the feathers, the ball, and it's all tweet, tweet, like a nest or whatever. And that old lion went there, kind of stuck his head in there, I think, and then left, chased it up a hill, and then my dog disappeared, and I couldn't hear him, but it's showing him treed, on the other side. And then I see a bunch of javelina tracks, and my dogs weren't broke off javelina back then. I just started to hunt down there, and so we go up over the ridge there, and they have they're in a bluff kind of, but it's in a cave. And man, I knew it too. I heard that chomping, those javelina, and it was being videoed for for the cancer hunt. And I had to be tough and be like, oh, let me crawl down in there. But man, I was shitting myself. I'm like, God damn it, this thing comes out of there and I'm done. So I crawled down in there at cave, and man, it was a big old boar, big old teeth, just chomping, and crawled out of there. I seen blood everywhere, but I didn't know what it was. Got out of there and got back. I seen the one dog monster. He had a little blood on him. We ended up walking all the way back to the truck, and got back to the truck, and dogs were jumping in. Well, a dog jumped back out of my tailgate, and landed on that dog that had a little blood on him, and that thing fauceted out right here in his neck. I'm like, what the hell? And I stuck my finger right in the hole. Like it was like in his jugular, I thought. I stuck my finger in a hole, and like to hold the collar with my finger in his hole, load the dogs up. I held there for a while, and I let go, and it quit bleeding, So I let him right up front because I didn't want him to bump him in the back and
make it start up again.
Man, but he healed up, just had a hole right there, and I think it's where and his collars were all messed up too. So I think those collars again saved those dogs.
Them big old bricks, like on the TT-15s, they help out. I got a couple of them on the wall that had his tooth sent through them.
Dandy's on his 327th comment. Well, guys,
welding anymore.
No, we're not welding anymore. We had our meeting for the AWDA last night, kind of non-formal, kind of what are we gonna do? That guy got on and helped us out a lot. So
he said it's pretty straight.
I do have a website, and I just have one page on it right now, just with a form on it. And if you guys, anybody in Arizona or anywhere else that wants to join, just fill out that form with your email, phone number, name, and leave a comment, and it'll put you on the list. Because I was at the CPA's today, and they got it transferred over from where I had it to the nonprofit, and then it's going to take probably a couple months to get the C3 going. And I will have a EIN number, so if anybody wants to I'm not like Brett. I'm not afraid to ask for money because with your guys' money, we're going to go out there and try to make a difference. So
educate.
But I mean, it's going to cost me $1,500 just to get the C3 going, basically. And then next week I'll go open a bank account once my EIN goes through and the paperwork. I expedited it, so that was another $70. So I have it in a couple of days, so we can. So if anybody wants to donate some money, we don't know what we're using it for yet, but it'll be for something good. I want to get a hold of the guy that we talked to last night. Well, that's what it is. And even if this 134 goes through, they'll still try to find a loophole.
Yeah, they're still going to try.
And, my CPA is like, well, how much money are you looking at? Like 50,000? And I'm like, no, I'm like 500,000. He goes, no, 50,000. I got to keep under a bracket in the first. I don't know. I want 500 members and $5 million just to sit there. And I want to pay someone to run around and educate. And I think that was our main goal is education. I don't want to have to fight for it, but I sure want to. We're going to have to, obviously. And
at some point.
I think we hooked up with the right guy last night.
Oh, so, absolutely. Like I said before, him knowing that those 2 antis are already in Arizona blew my mind.
3 employees in Arizona for ACES. They only have 1. There's now 3. So there's something coming.
And he was happy.
He was happy. There's really no hound association in Arizona that's kind of big. There's a bunch of organizations, but I think we need someone to represent hounds 100%. This guy's in every organization known to man, so he's going to be real helpful. And I'm even going to try to get him on our board and include him in all of our meetings. But azwda.com is the website, and it just has one page, and it's just the front page, and it says fill this form out, and then we'll get you on a list. If anybody wants to donate or knows somebody that will. We can take little ones, but I have to get that letter. What is that letter of intent or intention, whatever, from the IRS, so we can go after some of the bigger ones. But man, I really don't want to F around on it. No. I really want to
go big or go home, Chris.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd really like to get into these schools and take a little hound puppy in there, and everybody knows the hound. I want that book. I'm going to look for that book and see if we can't order a bunch of them.
Walt Disney Cougar.
So I'll look it up. It's probably $300 book now on
or no Amazon. Longer in production.
No, it still is.
No, but I bet you they have a digital copy you can print out, read from on a Kindle or I kind of have big plans, and I'd like for a lot of people, all these houndsmen, no matter how bad you hate the next one. There's a couple houndsmen here I'd like to punch in the face. You know what I mean? In Arizona. But
not all of us are going to get along with each other.
We don't have to hold hands. I don't care what you do. Just I think if people want to keep hound hunting, they're going to have to pay for it. Honestly.
Absolutely. I mean, eventually, you're just going to have to pay to play. That's just
that's
anything
that is. Country club hound hunting.
Yep.
And it's going to come every 2-3 years like it always does. And the longer they take, the more money we'll have, and the more pamphlets we print out, and the more we educate. Yep. That's the plan. That's me and Jared's plan. We have a couple of guys that jumped on. Ryan Ingram, Justin jumped on, but I think we lost service. He was driving. I keep trying to drag Justin into it sooner or later. He's off the coldstrikegear.com. He does all that stuff.
He's a busy guy.
And if anybody wants to join up or help us out or tell us what we're stupid or what we need to do or not need to do, just go fill out that, and on the comments maybe say, hey, I want to be involved, and then we'll just throw you on the meetings.
Yep.
That's all I got to say.
Oh, absolutely.
azwda.com, Arizona Working Dog Alliance. We're going to work with I think that guy last night, we're going to work with a lot of people because of him.
We need bird dog guys. We need bird dog
guys. That was my goal today. Yeah, bird dog guy. Yeah, and they're going to come after everything.
Well, they will. I mean, it's just
that's unfair chase, right?
They're not going to come after the bird dog guys of saying we're going to take away quail and pheasant hunting. They're going to come through the bird dog guys saying, "Hey, you have too many dogs.
Unfair chase."
Well, you have too many dogs, in your kennels, or why are you having a litter of pups every year? Mm-hmm. Or why are you and your buddies getting together and training dogs together.
You need Labradoodle people.
They're trying to make they're death by 1,000 cuts. They're trying to make everyone be so urban. Is that the word I'm looking for? A cityite. They're trying to make everyone such a cityite and conform to being the city life, you know, because on paper, you know, to the average person, no human being needs 10 dogs.
Why not?
You know?
That's my answer to that question.
Well, no one needs 10 dogs if I'm just feeding them and they ain't working.
Why not?
That
goes back to what are we going to do with the dogs now? Like, who's protecting the hounds? What, you know, is there a way to come after, you know, is there a way to do the law or something that says you can't make a dog not hunt? You know,
well, I want to be like Chris. I want 7 or 8 kids. Those are my 7 or 8 kids.
Yep. You know, but you gotta convince other people that, not people that already have dogs. You got to look at it from the outside looking in.
Well, if the dogs are so human being and they should be treated, they're mistreated, then why can't I get a social security number for them, claim them as a dependent?
Right.
If that's the case,
and put them on welfare. Why can't I put them on welfare?
Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree. You know, I grew up, like, my old man, he still thinks I have too many dogs. And I've been in dogs for, you know, since I was a kid. I've grown up with 2-3 dogs in the house since I was a kid. But my old man, he don't get it. He's just a bird dog guy. He's just a hobbyist when it comes to waterfowl duck hunting. You know, You're not going to overwork a lab retrieving ducks.
No, it's not hot. It's a cold time of year. You're not doing it in the summer. I dove hunt in the summer. I dove hunt in the summer.
But you
I'm
know,
done by 8 o'clock.
It's not like a hound or one of these, you know, pointers around in the mountains pointing quail or chucker, putting 6-7 miles on their legs a day.
Mm-hmm.
You do that to the same dog 3-4 days in a row, you're not going to get very many years out of them.
Mm.
That's why you got to have 7, 8, 10 dogs, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Or who did
in y'all's country?
Yeah, you know, or that government lion hunter in West Texas. He had 30 dogs and 4 mules just for himself, just to save his animals because they needed rest.
Well,
when I was a kid, we had 30 beagles and 15 coonhounds. And Daddy had 11 horses and 6 cows.
Yep. You know, but you used them every day.
You can't hunt that many coon dogs at one time.
Well, not
now, beagles. We turned every one of them loose. It was
every 2-3 beagles equal one.
It was like going to the Ringling Brothers Circus and, you know, seeing what happened. You know, we had some that run deer and some that run rabbits. But.
Yep.
That's a fact. Start a rescue.
No, this was my daddy bought me 2 and we ended up with 30. Because I'm like, Daddy, I need more dogs. He's like, all right. He wouldn't tell me nothing.
Hey, Jared, did you say who the author of that book was?
It's just Walt Disney Cougar Animal Adventure.
There's no
Rutherford Montgomery.
Hang on, let me make her big. Rutherford Montgomery. There you go, Missy Fix.
But they don't just, in this book, they don't just say you got to kill every mountain lion. They also say, like, you got to respect the lions and everything, but they need to be hunted and they need to be managed. That's the cool part about this book. Because they're not breaking at the waist, they're breaking at the wrist and their shoulders when they're shooting their bow. When you shoot a bow, you break at your wrist, your waist. Because this is all has to be an anchor point. You can't move any of this. When all of a sudden you break your arm and go up like that, or your wrist, or however it works, it doesn't work. I hate taking like everyone wants to go lion hunting with their bow, you know, the die-hard bow hunters. And I'm like, dude, you're shooting it from 20 feet with a rifle or a bow. It don't matter.
Yeah.
You can walk up and shoot.
Every bow hunter I encounter, I say, you're probably going to miss it. Nah, I shoot a pie plate 100 yards. I said, all right, sure shit.
You know, I tell every bow hunter, yeah, you can carry that bow, but if we catch that lion on the bluff, you're not using your bow. I'm not going to watch my dogs get stabbed by an arrow that's stuck halfway outside the lion.
Yeah. So if you guys got any ideas for a show or know anybody that wants to come on and tell some stories too, just give me where's my anecdote of a houndsman at outlook.com. Send me an email or a message on Facebook. I'm not hard to find, except for Dandy. He can't find me, I guess. Man,
Come on.
you know, Arizona don't have coons. We have a few here and there, but I get pictures from my Oklahoma friend, and they got a feeder there, and there's like 30 coons on that feeder.
I ain't tough enough to coon hunt. I hate being wet. Because I hate being wet.
Hell, we're in a drought. We ain't got no water.
His drought is our drought is way different than his drought.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, you know that
Your guys'
diabetes
drought
y'all
is
got
you
in
have
the
to
road?
water the lawn.
We're watering the lawn.
Yeah. Even with our non-droughts, we're watering our lawns.
We are too. It gets dry here. I'm in the northern half of the state. I'm not down there in the swamps. We've got some wet spots. Like in the wintertime, yeah, you probably don't want to come down here. But in the summertime, all you got to do is fight rattlesnakes, copperheads, and cottonmouths, and alligators.
Well, we're getting into the season where all of ours are starting to
Go to bed.
hole. Yep.
I think I killed my last rattlesnake 2 weeks ago. So
Don't say that yet. Don't jinx it.
I did it.
Jeremy, I appreciate you coming on again.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Jared, you have to come on.
Yep.
I'm ready to go. You guys ready to go? You got anything to say? Any last words?
Go blow up Mountain Lion sightings. Keep proving those people wrong.
Mountain Lion sightings on Facebook.
Help support Jared.
Sharing is education. There's stuff that guy told us last night I had no clue about. So, and there's just thousands of subjects. Oh, like Amendment 2 in Florida. Did you guys know about that?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Right
about
to
it.
hunt.
You said
Right
that
to
to me.
hunt this year in Florida.
So hopefully that passes. Every state should have the right to hunt. Every state, every dollar, cent, minute spent, share should be about a right to hunt state. So these anti-hunting pukes that think that we should just believe everything they do. I swear, if they ever get rid of that, I'm going in Arizona for a proposition that ends all pest control in the house.
Yep.
Every bit of it. It's cruel. It shouldn't be done. They were here first, and if we have to deal with mountain lions and all that, then they have to deal with the insects and the mice and the snakes. Make it illegal to kill anything.
Yep.
Well, what you got to do is go after stuff they care about.
What's that? Blue hair and coffee?
Yeah, shut down Starbucks.
Anti blue hair and coffee. You know, I'll start.
Well, why don't you make it? Well, why don't you make it? You know, the gangbangers or the motorcycle clubs. You know this better than I do, Jeremy. You know, they're listed as gangs, even though they're a club. So what makes all blue hair people not a gang or part of Antifa or, you know what I mean? You're judging. So I don't know. That's a whole nother 2-hour subject. Maybe we'll talk about hound gangs next. Maybe we'll start. Yeah. Jeremy, how far south of Arkansas are you?
I am about 60 miles south of Arkansas.
You're coming on next week, Eric. I'll send you a link. I know who you are now. I busted into his camp. I was like, who is this Utah guy? In my country, in my unit.
Well, there was a Louisiana guy up there in your unit.
Yep. Yeah. Gonna be fun next year, guys.
All you had to do was eat sushi that day. You didn't have to actually hunt.
Nope. All righty.
All right. Talk to you guys
week.
later.
Next
week.
See y'all.
Next week.
See ya.
All right, guys. For you on the podcast, if you want to listen to this, you're going to go to YouTube, Anecdote of a Houndsman, and check out the lives. Our last week's show is going to be on W tomorrow. I might just get this one downloaded. I don't know. I might take an interview stories and tales one from Monday Night Live and give it to W for next week. If you guys want to listen to a lot of these shows, I'm catching up. So there's going to be some older ones coming on. Just look up either Freecasting on Spotify, any of those. I have a bunch of them, but Spotify and Apple Podcast. Look up the Chris Watson Project or Freecasting, and they'll pull up. I put everything on the Chris Watson Project. When I start doing my PI stuff, those will be on there too. Thanks everybody for coming. If you have any ideas or people want to be on a show, Anecdote of a Houndsman at outlook.com. Other than that, stay safe out there and don't forget to keep your powder dry, guys.